Alright, so how are we doing in our third season with Leeds? We're at the start of December in 2023, season 3. We are 5th in the Premiership, and we find ourselves top of our Europa League group. In fact, we've already qualified for the next phase, but our final game is against Sampdoria, who, as you can see, are second in the league. As long as we avoid defeat, we top the group. Pretty exciting to see what's going to happen next. You've probably already gathered that our rating is pretty dog at the moment at 61, but that's because of some of the objectives that we've been set by the board, which of course we haven't hit, and most of those are financially driven. We're doing very, very good, so that's obviously going to increase by the time that we get to the end of the season, but there are a few transfer related objectives in there, and as per the description at the start of the video and the start of this channel, we have set ourselves some pretty strict rules of the game, if you will, and they include things like, look, we can't actually buy anybody. We can bring people in on a free transfer, or if they're nearing the end of their contract, then of course that we can bring them in. That's point number one. Point number two being, any free transfers that we do bring in, and any end of contract people, have to be realistic. We can't go and sign Marcus Rashford or Neymar or Cristiano Ronaldo. These guys are not going to come to Leeds United. They might do in the future when we've established ourselves as a much bigger club and perhaps maybe won a couple of league titles. But right now, sitting 5th in the Premiership, having only just qualified for Europe by the Europa League, we are still a minnow, if you will, with regards to some of those other big boys who are at the table in England. United, City, Chelsea, Liverpool, Arsenal, et al. So we are very much in the minnow category with regards to the European heavyweights, if you will. So as you can see, finance is doing very, very well. We've not spent any money apart from on contracts. Squad is looking pretty good, if not knackered. But of course, we are absolutely making the most of youngsters that come through. So just a quick revisit of where we find ourselves with the first 11. So we have Panieri, who was one of our youth developments at Crewe. We didn't start recording the Crewe videos. We only started recording them when we first took over Leeds. So there's a number of these players that we developed from Crewe that we'll come to shortly, that we brought in as part of our rules of engagement. Obviously, because we brought them through, we're allowed to sign them. We can't sign any other players. So we have Panieri, who we brought through from Crewe. We have Palestri, who was already at Leeds. We have Milanovic, who was already at Leeds, and that's actually Zlatan's regen. We have Zemanski, who was a free transfer, who when he first came in was 60 odd rated when we first signed him for Crewe, and of course we've followed that through and brought him through to Leeds. Kessier was a free transfer from AC Milan. Van der Linden, again from Crewe, our youth programme brought him through. Shackleton was already at the club. Price, one of our youth players from Crewe. Cooper, already at the club, and certainly not going to be our main central defender moving forwards. We have young Lewis, who also was at Crewe, who can play left back, centre back and right back, as can Price, so he's probably going to slot in here when he's got a bit more experience. And then Rulli was also a free transfer as well. So that's our main first 11. When we go to the bench and those that we rotate in regularly, as you can see, everyone's happy or very happy, mainly because we do have a relatively small squad, but also because I'm giving plenty of people game time because of the number of cups that we're in, and of course the Europa League as well is quite demanding. So Tisiasvili, he says right mid, left mid. I generally play him at left back, with him being left-footed, especially against those faster forwards, which anyone that's watched some of the previous videos will know we've done well against the likes of Salah and Messi, Cristiano Ronaldo, etc. when we come up against those guys. Suarez was already in the team. Duarte, one of our youngsters, also from Crewe, big hopes for him. Now, Giordino, one of our youngsters from Leeds, he's one of our young centre-backs, as is Morris. Cabral, also a youth player from Crewe, and Kudus was also already at the club. Let's get into the reserves. So Hummels, we signed him in at the start of the season. He's already retiring and nowhere near as good as I first anticipated with the signing of Hummels. Disappointed, especially with his 32 pace. Absolute dog. Villar on the right hand side was another free transfer that we picked up. He's progressing well. I mainly bought him because of his pace. He's so quick, which is exactly what we need, especially in the front three area. Another youngster, Bauer, came through at Leeds, as did Voss, who's just come back from loan. And then, of course, we have some more Leeds youngsters, which are all developing well as well, actually. And I'll be looking to try and get some of these boys out on loan when we can. So we're doing really well in the league. We are fifth, I think, only with one defeat. Pretty pleased with that as far as progress is concerned. And of course, this next big game against Sampdoria, as long as we avoid defeat, we top our group. Hopefully that's going to mean somewhat of a favourable draw. The objective for the board is to try and get to the final of the Europa League, which is going to be a challenge given I'm playing on legendary difficulty. So let's wait and see what happens. Anyway, I just wanted to give that update, let you know where we are. We continue to grow and develop. Catch you soon.